around for me. I need to do the update thing. Anyone doing stupid thing? Was it always go to unlisted? It's ridiculous. Right. I thought I'd better do a recap because I know that not everybody watches all my videos. People tend to stumble upon them and then think, what's going on here, and what's this all about and everything. So I thought I'd do a little recap and a little bit of adjustments in the design, which I'm going to talk about. Now, the reason for building this, some people think I must be stupid or something, because I'll just mention that a few weeks ago I got this rather insulting comment from a certain person, but I'm not going to say who it was, but basically he called me a beast and called me stupid, right? So this is basically to answer those people that think I'm a beast, fat and stupid, right? I don't care really what people think. If they think like that, then they obviously haven't been watching my channel. But I've been working on these magnetic designs for, I don't know, 6 years maybe, but most of it was originally on the original live stream and it all got lost, and then I started doing it and posting it on YouTube. So YouTube was predominantly for my Adventures of Oleg stuff and spiritual stuff originally, but when live stream suddenly started to become paid service, which means that my free subscription, my free account was shut down and a load of my videos disappeared. They did give me the option to download them, but I didn't think there was a point because I've already got them backed up on DVD, well, disc, and they were actually, but there's no point really in showing all that early stuff because a lot of it was very basic, and it was at the early stage of my research. Now, anyone that doesn't understand, obviously I've done all the conventional magnetic stuff where you've got the magnet rotating past the coil. We all know that it's basic magnetism and generator stuff. But the problem with the conventional stuff is the fact that the magnets are always on. You can't turn them off unless it's an electromagnet, which means you can basically pulse a coil and create an electromagnet. Now that's a different story. But with a fixed magnet, the problem is that you get the drag. You pulse the magnet pulses the coil and it creates a resistance which slows the rotor down. So that's the conventional method. So the whole point of this is effectively a switching magnet, really, because the magnets themselves are not moving, but the flux lines are. That's the important thing. So remember, the flux lines that come from a magnet, you've all seen the diagrams of the lines of flux when you put the iron filings on a piece of paper, and you can see all the pattern that the magnetic field creates. Well, those are the lines of flux which cut through the coil, which create the power, which the voltage and the current. So these magnets are not moving, but what we are actually doing is intersecting the magnetic field and rotating that field past the coil to a certain point where the magnetic field shuts off, which you can't do with a rotating magnet because the magnet is always magnetized. But we can do with this because these laminations are passing the coil. These laminations are passing between both the magnet and the coil, which collects the power. So what we've effectively got with this situation is a switching magnetic field, which simulates, I'm not going to say it is truly a switch, but it is simulating the field being attenuated. I think the word attenuated is the best description, because what we're doing is we're varying the field, but we are moving the flux lines through the coil, and then they just fade away, because what happens is when we get the laminations in between the magnets, they actually cancel out, so the field stops. So the idea is to reduce that amount of drag. So what we've got here is a situation where as laminations are approaching the coil, they create a field which the coil is stimulated by to produce energy, and once it gets to top dead center, and normally top dead center is the point where the most resistance is and where the most drag is, so it's at top dead center where it actually fades away. And at that point, because when the field is moving towards the coil or actually moving away from the coil, there's actually less drag there. The maximum drag is right top dead center. So this is why this switches the field off basically when it's at top dead center. So obviously I explained right from the very beginning. You'll notice some differences with this drawing, by the way. I'm going to explain that in a minute. So what we're doing is we're trying to create electromagnetic power from the coil, which obviously won't be a large amount because it's purely for testing. It's really just to test out some principles to see if it's a feasible road to go down, to expand on. So I'm just basically trying out different configurations of my steel laminations. Now you'll notice I've taken the one out the middle there. I also took one out that was up here and I moved it down here, on here as well. I took that one, the one that was here at this side, and I moved it to this side. The reason for that is I after doing some static testing, as in testing the fields on the outside near the coil, I found out that the one in the middle was interfering with the flux that I wanted. So on the approach, as these laminations approach the magnet, a lot of my flux was going over here to this set over here, which was basically being wasted. So a lot of the field wasn't even being used because it was being shunted across. So I took that one out the middle so that more flux would be shunted in this direction where I wanted it, and I didn't want these to be activated. So that's the reason for taking the middle one out. I also found out that my flux was shutting off a little bit too early, so that's the reason why I moved that lamination to this end, so that I could get more curvature on the field, so that the magnetic field would curve a much bigger arc. And I've also I can show you with the compass in a minute. I'll show you with the compass in a second. But so that's making a big difference just by taking that one out there. So and also I've added, I thought, well, I'm going to print a new one of these because I want to put extra magnets in. So I decided to I'm going to be printing a new one of these top sections, so I can put two magnets, so I can improve the magnetic field so it'll be even stronger. And on that side I've also adjusted the pitch so that they're actually tilted this way a little bit and this way a bit, so a little bit closer to the focal point, because my field was a little bit too wide. Now regarding that, taking that middle one out, because I haven't actually printed a new one yet, so I'm just going to get my the existing one, and I'll just show you what I mean. Move my coffee out of the way. Right, I'm going to have to lay this on the table like this. Right, so I've taken the ones out the middle. You can see a hole there, right there. And I took all the middle ones out because I found out that what was happening when this rotor is in that position, where I want all the flux to come along this side to go to the coil, a lot of my flux was actually going over here as well, which was dissipating the amount of power that I wanted. And also I wasn't I was doing a test with my compass actually, because that's the best way of checking for deflection. So if I get my compass, we get a bigger deflection now, which obviously will mean that we'll have more output. I'll just stick this on here. I'll stick my compass on here like that. Right, don't worry, I'm not going to demagnetize my compass, because the way this is set up, we have one field pulling on this side of the compass and the other field is pulling on this side of the compass, so it's actually gonna magnetize it stronger. If anything, it's not going to demagnetize it, because anyway, watch what happens. Watch the deflection amount. We have a bigger deflection amount now. If I can just get this in the right in the middle. Right, so if we get that there, we get a bigger deflection now than we did before. I'll show you what I mean when I spin this. See how much that swings. It actually swings a lot more than it did previously. That's just by taking that middle steel out. So we get a better attenuation on it. Right, so that was just taking that out, but obviously I haven't moved the lamination that's there. It's next to my finger, the one I'm not covering up. I haven't moved that one across yet, but these two need to be moved over here where this hole is, which I filled in on the new drawing, which is here. So I am going to have to print more of these segments and then get all these steel out of there, and it's going to be a pain to get them out because I hammered them in. Actually, they were I should be able to get them out. I got the middle ones out. It's just a bit of a struggle, actually, a bit difficult to get them out, but I'll get them out somehow. So next week I'm going to get some more filament, because my printer filament is a bit low. I don't know how long that's going to last. I haven't got a lot left. I'll probably be able to print some more segments. I think I've got enough of that, but so I've got to print more segments, and I've also made some changes. At some point I'm going to print this new hub in the middle with extra magnets on, and I also increased the size. You'll notice that it's perfectly round now because I added extra slots. Those are optional for more magnets if I decide to use more magnets later on, but the main reason for putting them in right now is it saves on plastic. Instead of printing a solid block of plastic, I have a lot of holes, which saves material, so I'm saving money by having them in now. So I thought, well, why not just stick them in there? These are the ones where the magnets are going to be for now, where they are at the moment in the current design, but these other ones are just vacant, and unless I decide to put magnets in, but at least it's saving me some plastic, so I don't have to print a solid piece, you know. So whereas this one, you can see it's a pretty shape, it's not perfectly round. That's because it was a prototype. So anyway, that's the difference. We're getting more swing on the compass, as you can see. Yeah, I think you can go and look at the earlier video and you'll see that this is swinging a lot more now than it was before. But I'm not going to run a test right now, because this is just an update, just a recap to go over everything, and plus I really need to get a new battery for my meter. My meter battery is, I think it's completely shot. It works for a bit and then it starts blinking at me. So anyway, yeah, so I think that's long enough video. It's been going on a while, so I'll try and keep you up to date with what's going on, and any new thoughts and stuff I come across. Yep, thanks for watching.